everybody to the GG League season number 2. It's going to be, once again, the quarterfinal. It is game number 2 between Gplay and BBC Balkan Bears Corleone, where BBC, they have a 1-game advantage with just a massive terror blade in game number 1. So for game number 2, maybe we're going to see some different bans, different strategies, but we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe Gplay will go for that throw Visic once again. Unless banned out, of course. But we are HeflaTV, your English coverage. I'm Coucher. I'm joined by MRP. More rage, please. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully. Definitely a convincing game. BBC for game 1. I think that if Gplay does opt to go back for their bread and butter with this draw visage, they certainly need to ban out that Tidehunter. Hockey pretty much hit multi-hero ravages every time. The only time he had a single hero ravage was over by the side shop when they found Hawkeye, and that allowed them to push to tier 3 in the bot lane. So pretty much every single engagement had an effective ravage from that Tidehunter, even when he was a little bit out of position for the base defense, and just not early enough BKB on the Coney's Drow Ranger, and Gplay was punished heavily for it.
Yeah, it really was a slightly weird item decision, or the lack of the correct item, I guess. I don't know. But this time around, Gplay once again banning out the Broodmother, Disruptor the second one as well. Definitely heroes that BBC favor, especially the Broodmother. I mean, a lot of teams, they just have no idea how to kind of counter the Broodmother when he goes for like Necrobook, just starts pushing. It is really hard to deal with that, just because he's so damn speedy in the waves as well. So easy for her to just make an escape.
Definitely. So they banned out the Brewmaster here from BBC and the Death Prophet, so very similar looking to their first couple bans last game. Disruptor ban comes out early from Gplay. Not sure if this is a hero that is first ban phase worthy, but perhaps it does put a thorn into their plans. They'll pick up the Ogre here, so just a strong first pick hero from Gplay. What do you think about that Disruptor ban?
I mean, Balkan Bears have played that hero semi-often, I guess, so it is really kind of a respect ban of sorts. I'm not too sure if it's gonna like counter anything that Gplay is gonna try to go for, especially with the Brewmaster already getting banned. Maybe Gplay want to get the Tidehunter, and Disruptor definitely is good against Tidehunter, but I'm not too sure if it like would warrant a ban just with that. I really think it's more of a respect than just kind of banning out something that the hero would encounter yourself.
Yeah, BBC, they're going to allow the Tidehunter through, and they'll pick it up right away again for Hockey, and they will pick up the Jakiro to couple with that, so a little bit more push into the face of Gplay with the Tidehunter, so daring them to defend their towers with their Jakiro, and off the back of this Ravage, they should be able to catch a few out if they do ball up for these defenses.
It's definitely going to be rather hard for Gplay to actually fight into Balkan Bears. Just Ravage, we saw it from the last game as well. Such and devastating ability. Chronosphere, of course, I guess from the Faceless Void that Gplay had, also can be strong, but you need to just position yourself a little bit better for the Chronospheres and have your team to back up a little bit faster as well. Tidehunter, he's a hero, at least with the item choices that the Faceless Void had, or rather, he just didn't have enough farm to get proper items. So he went for the Chronosphere, but once Chronosphere ended and he was still alone and the follow-up wasn't there, he just died immediately. Whereas the Tidehunter, if he goes in and ravages first, he's going to survive for quite a long time even after that. So that was also just one of the differences between the teams.
Yeah, certainly. Gplay going to opt for a little bit more of a tanky core so far, and they're going to pick up this Viper, presumably one in time there. So hopefully the matchup will go well. Drow ban comes out from BBC.
I guess it's a hero that Gplay have been running, so just in case ban it out. Especially with the Bloodlust, definitely would be scary. I mean, any of the ranged heroes that Gplay might have in that case, Bloodlusted up as well, just crazy amounts of physical damage coming there. And maybe they thought about the Drow Ranger after the Axe ban, or I guess maybe they thought about the Visage, but they just decided to ban out the Drow instead.
Yeah.
So
yeah, certainly Drow does strengthen up that Visage, so I guess they're willing to give that over with the Drow out of the pool and the Precision Aura. Not going to buff up those familiars with that active, so BBC just going to ban out the core in that sense and allow them to take the Visage if need be. They will ban out the Ancient Apparition here, so perhaps looking for a Faceless Void of their own. They don't want that to counter up the FV or just the global presence being denied up, and the Ice Blast that can follow up from the Ravage if the AA is positioned well, and they do go for that FV here.
Well, Faceless Void will be there for BBC now. So they have the Ravage, they have the Chronosphere, Macropyre to follow in the Chronosphere if need be. Of course, they all banned out the Ancient Aberration themselves, so there's not going to be an Ice Blast to follow, though. I guess Witch Doctor, yeah, it's them playing it last game as well without like any massive setup this time around. It would be even better for them. Also, just sustain the pushes with the Voodoo Restoration, but Gplay going for a Lycan now.
Yeah, very interesting pickup. We'll be able to chop down this Witch Doctor pretty quickly, but everyone else fairly tanky with the backtracks, with that poor man's shield. Jakiro is one of the more tanky intelligence heroes in the game. Tidehunter obviously tanky with the Anchor Smash and the Kraken Shell. And so they will be hard-pressed to chop down these heroes, but they will be able to go into that Roshan pit fairly early with Lycan. However, I would definitely argue BBC has a much better pit fight team. And there's a lot of single target here from the side of Gplay, so I don't know how well Lycanthrope synergizes with their lineup thus far.
Yeah, BBC, they have a reasonable amount of lockdown as well to kind of deal with the Lycan. Especially if Jakiro gets that Yule Scepter, you may be running with 650 movement speed, but once you get the Yules and just land into the Ice Path, movement speed doesn't mean anything to you. Plus, of course, Chronosphere to follow. Then there's the Ravage as well. I think Balkan Bears, they have what it takes to deal with a Lycan, or at least in theory they do.
Yeah.
So Gplay, they really have to just kind of get the ball rolling rather early on.
Yeah, we'll see a final phase Meepo ban from the side of Gplay. Definitely would have been good with the Earthbinds up against the Lycan. They do have a lot to assist the Lycan on their own lineup in the way of the Viper Strike, as well as a swap for positioning, and the stuns offered from both the Ogre and the Venge. But either way, we did mention that BBC has quite a few ways to deal with it, and we'll see what this last pickup is here. It probably will be a support Jakiro, with the mid being picked up for BBC here for Weehaw, and you will see the Meepo ban, so Gplay is expecting that mid lane hero. And Timbersaw is banned out from the side of BBC, so interesting ban from them. It is kind of a little bit more AoE for that team, but we will see a core Earthshaker for Weehaw and BBC, and we saw him wreck a couple of weeks ago with this. I can't remember exactly who it was, but they're pretty comfortable running this.
Well, with this, I have no idea how they're exactly going to lane this, but it might be Jakiro mid. To be honest, Balkan Bears, they were one of the early teams to start running a Jakiro mid, even before that was, or became kind of a thing at some point. So we'll see, although I would definitely be in favor of an Earthshaker core here. It's always fun to see, it really is. Or maybe even a Witch Doctor core, every now and then, to see that hero in the mid lane as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they often BBC run Weehaw on this Earthshaker mid, so that's generally what I expect, but also Jakiro does offer a lot being leveled up early and given that farm priority. Either way, I would expect the Faceless Void in the safe lane with Hockey in the off lane as usual, and Weehaw on the mid Earthshaker. Going to be interesting to see what Gplay responds with here. Perhaps looking for an offlaner, and they do pick up the Batrider, so some good initiation onto the Tide or the Void, but they will have quite a few ways to deal with him with the Yule's pickup from the Jakiro at some point, as well as the Ice Path. They do have the Cask too, and the Chronosphere or the Ravage, either one who is not lassoed, to counter up that Batrider lasso.
Well, I mean, Batrider definitely is a good hero, but you already mentioned it before the Batrider came out that they have a lot of just single target focus with the heroes. So they really have to go like focus one hero down. Maybe they can just switch their focus between two heroes, but that's about it. Whereas BBC, they just go in, they like randomly, oh, I popped my Ravage. Oh, everybody got caught. What do you know? Chronosphere to follow, then there's just Macropyres, everything is flying. They have so much to deal with just in AoE, all in all, and he's the one to pick up Earthshaker, man.
Yeah, he's going to DC quickly, but he should be back fairly soon, and hopefully we can get those issues rectified. Either way, there is even the Fissure to deal with this lasso, so a small cooldown ability could be used as well from long range to counter initiate. So I do worry a bit for Hawkeye's Batrider here, but he does have a pretty appropriate name to be on that Batrider, so we'll see how effective he is with the use of that lasso.
As we are paused anyway, we can just introduce the lineup. So for the side of Gplay on the Dire side, they definitely have to win this game unless they want to fall out of the tournament. So Poison will be playing the Ogre, Pure Evil on the Vengeful Spirit, Kikoni playing the Lycan, with Nikoni Insolent on the Viper, and the last one is the Hawkeye on the Batrider.
Yeah, and from the side of BBC, Padrino gonna pick up a little more hard carry in this one, going towards the safe lane on the Faceless Void. Weehaw in the mid on that core Earthshaker. Levi once again playing the Witch Doctor. Solitude on the Jakiro, and Hockey on his signature Tidehunter. Back to the off lane he goes.
Well, we'll see how it's gonna work out for Wii at the moment. Like I said, definitely going into the mid lane, starting with double branches and gets one tango from each support as well. But looks like it's going to be yet another dual off lane at this point. This time around, it's a little bit stronger maybe so. Jakiro can put a little bit more harassment onto the Gplay safe laner. Although, then again, it's a Viper, so it's not like the dual lane of Gplay is weak or anything.
And interestingly enough, Padrino going to be babysat by Levi's ass. bbc.padrino.levi's ass going to be babysat bot lane by the Witch Doctor. He's going to scout out Hawkeye walking in here with a ward, and smartly Hawkeye won't place it as he is scouted out here. So they may waste a sentry from the side of BBC, and they will drop an observer ward of their own to scout the rune for the time being.
I mean, I think the Overseeker mid in this case definitely wasn't a bad choice, just because you're up against a melee hero as well. Lycan, I guess he starts with better damage early on, and the wolves might be a little bit annoying, but then again you have just the enchant totem for the extra harass damage, Fisher to follow as well. Should be a pretty good lane for an Earthshaker, all things considered.
Yeah, unfortunately Levi gonna have to use some of his regen to get a D ward here, but it is a nice little bounty for him, and definitely worth not having this camp blocked up for the pull through.
Yeah, it is kind of necessary if you're on the Radiant side, and usually it's rather hard to even find the wards which get placed, but I do believe they had an own observer ward down before the sentry, so they saw Gplay coming in and placing that sentry down. A little bit unfortunate for Gplay themselves, but at the very least they can just place down this observer ward with relative ease now, knowing that it is highly likely that BBC won't find that one.
Yeah, going to be an interesting mid-lane matchup. Weehaw's Earthshaker versus Kakoni's Lycan here. Kakoni should find quite a bit of farm on this Lycan in this lane. Shouldn't be contested too heavily by that ES.
Yeah, probably not. I think both heroes actually most likely will get a reasonable amount of farm for themselves.
Yeah.
Top lane, another D ward comes out. I think it was Balkan Bears destroying this observer ward, and now going for a sentry as well, and Pure Evil can't do much of anything. So epic sentry success from Balkan Bears earlier.
Yeah, Wave of Terror skilled up at level 1 by Pure Evil. He's not able to put a magic missile into either target there, and they will find a couple of D wards that'll help out their economy early on.
Poison trying to intercept the double pull through as well, but Levi, nicely done anyway. Gets the double pull through, although Hawkeye will be there with Sticky Napalm and Firefly. If you got a few stacks onto Levi, maybe could follow up, but not gonna happen at this point. Ignite thrown out on the Faceless Void as well, taking a lot of damage, but has still lots of tangos to spare. So, are we looking at yet another just rather passive start to the laning phase, or are they just waiting for maybe like level 2 or 3?
It seems like it will be fairly passive. We do have dual lanes from both sides, so interestingly enough, they'll choose that route again. Hockey's probably going to find a little bit more in this game than he did in the first early on up against the Viper and the Vengeful Spirit, but bot lane, Hawkeye is a little bit deep here. Levi won't have the kill potential though, with only a Faceless Void to back him up.
Yeah, top lane they tried to go for Hockey as well, at least with a few poison attacks. But Pure Evil, he barely got in range for the magic missile, but chose to not throw it out because Tidehunter was too close to the tower at that point already. And now Solitude has arrived, has the dual breath. Ice Path maybe a little bit better defensively or a little bit faster in its just success, but dual breath is actually a ridiculously strong ability just because it also slows the attack speed.
Yeah, it is pretty good in a value point situation. I'm not a huge fan of it being maxed out, but either way, I like it in this dual lane. And no corrosive skin just quite yet for the Viper, so Solitude will be able to harass him out with that liquid fire unless he goes for it here.
Well, it is indeed rather passive. Farm-wise, if you look at the numbers, Viper doing better than Padrino is by quite a heavy margin as well, but I guess it's kind of to be expected if you're a Faceless Void up against just a Batrider already. But the liquid fire harass will continue, and now Solitude has 1-1-1. I maybe even thought that he might skip the Ice Path and go for 2 points into Liquid Fire just to make it, first of all, harder in damage as well as just more spammable, but Did go for 1-1 and 1.
Yeah, Anchor Smash hitting very hard on that Vengeful, gonna force him to use quite a bit of regen. There's still 5 tangles up on the Tide Hunter. He's also got almost 600 gold, so we'll have those Tranquils fairly soon.
Yeah, Tranquils definitely are going to help quite a lot there, and...
Or Arcanes, I should say.
Well, either one. Arcades, Tranquils. Oh, Solitude though, he gets stunned up, poison attack as well. But Nikoni is going to get past enough, close enough. Yes, he is. Ice Path dodged as well, so that's going to be first blood picked up by Pure Evil. They finally find some success there. And, well, Levi might go down bottom lane. Hawkeye though gets bashed up by Padrino. He's going to go down to the Maledict of Levi. Poison though gets the counter kill, and now Padrino, does he have enough to chase down Poison? Poison pretty damn tanky of course, but the Time Walk is coming off cooldown. Never mind, Padrino gonna give up the chase.
Yeah, with the Bat Rider respawning here, definitely a good call from him to back off. He does find a solo kill on the Bat Rider there. I'm sure he maybe have been in range for Levi's Wish Sucker there, but not a bad trade.
And now Levi, he came top lane. He wasn't really needed for the Viper kill, but for the count or follow-up kill on the Vengeful, definitely helped out a little bit. So they get 2 kills on the top lane. Yes, they did lose Chakiro for the first blood earlier, but they get their revenge. They get 2 in return. Mid lane, we farms up, of course, so does Lycan, but I think we probably, if he gets the Task Blink there, is going to have more of an immediate impact.
Yeah, and he will have his level 6 soon, as will Kakoni, but it looks like the Earthshaker probably will be a slight bit more effective with that Echo Slam than Kikoni will with the Shapeshift. He's going to have to rely a lot on the rest of his teammates to lock down heroes for him, or at least slow them for him to be able to chop them down without having to run too deep into the lineup of BBC.
Yeah, well, mid lane now, Pure Evil, he's coming in on the Vengeful. Smoke breaks already, and Kikoni pops his ultimate as well. There's the Fisher. Pure Evil will get blocked, doesn't even get the magic missile off. And Kikoni with the Maledict on him, doesn't really want to chase, even with the Shapeshift.
Yeah, very nice gank dodge. 2-man rotation in from the side of BBC. They only have to bring in Levi, or from the side of Gplay, I should say. They only have to bring in Levi from BBC. And all the meanwhile, Hockey farming as well as Padrino on the Void.
Yeah, and Hockey now, if he finishes up the Arcane Boots, him and Solitude are just gonna have so much more harass coming out. Liquid Fire, yes, it's a free ability. But still you can spam out the dual breath a little bit more, although there's this smoke coming in. They're probably going to be screwed, at least one of them, Hockey. If he escapes, it's all going to be fine, but they want to go for the Tide Hunter. They are spreading themselves out. And can they... Man, they must get Solitude, right? They have a way to stun him or kill him? Yes, they do.
Yep, so nice little find for the side of Gplay there. And Hockey will be able to back off, however. He does have 1,400 gold at the ready, so can pick up Arcanes if he wishes to do so. Or can look for that Blink Rush. He was very effective with that early Blink last game, despite not having the best start. But Padrino continuing to farm. He's got 18 CS, so not absolutely terrible, but it is really low relative to the 32 of Nikoni. He's also been involved in 2 kills and only 1 death on that Viper, so should have an early mechanism or Aghanims up on that Viper.
Yeah, either one will be fine. Mech may be a little bit better in the sense that you can actually push for a little bit longer. But now Poison, he's going to get Ice Pathed up. It's only level 1, so this duration isn't all that long. And now Hawkeye comes in with the Firefly. They want to go for we might be an easy kill for them. Fire Blast first. If they get the Lasso, that's a guaranteed kill. And yep, there's the Magic Missile to set things up. Lasso to follow. Levi does come in, Paralyzing Cast, gonna not bounce to anything at all because the wolves are invis. But now Padrino, he time walks in as well. Does he have the Chronosphere? Oh yes, he does. Doesn't really want to use it only on Poison though. But now that Lycan, he was kind enough to come in as well. He has the ultimate. He's able to run out. The Ravage comes out, and they do have just enough. No, they don't. The bottle, the speed, it's too much.
Wow, that one last attack animation from Hockey is just a millisecond too slow. And Kakoni able to back out Magic Missile into Padrino here. He's going to be able to time walk away, however. Kakoni's Shapeshift probably going to expire just about now, and that'll be the end of the aggression for the side of Gplay. Almost feeding his life over as the Lycan walking right into that Chrono there, but just not quite enough to bring him down. And Hockey will retreat to farm up a triple stack of Ancients.
So Gplay definitely getting some nice gold there, but this triple stack, is it gonna be his Blink Dagger finished even? If it was like a double stack of, or if 2 of the stacks were dragons, maybe so, but he's still gonna get dangerously close to a Blink Dagger, although having no Arcane Boots is gonna really be straining your mana pool.
Yeah, he is going to need the arcane boots for sure eventually, but he will get scouted out here right when the stack is low by poison, and they will be able to bring down a lot of this. That's going to hurt quite a bit. Ice Path is going to whiff from the low ground. Turn for an Anchor Smasher will be a Liquid Fire into poison here, as we still have the Vengeful farming up the Ancient, leaving his Ogre to pretty much die. Enchant Totem is going to land. He's going to be blocked in. He will get a Fire Blast out onto Weehaw, but he should end up dropping here. Hockey going to return to the fray. Fisher is up soon with a couple mana points needed, and it'll be up here for Weehaw if he needs it. And we'll finish off the kill on the Ogre Magi.
Well, he did just waste quite a lot of time, although, oh god, Patrider, he got the kill on Witch Doctor, and Padrino couldn't get the counter kill, was denied to the neutral creeps. So, I'd still call it a win for Gplay, only losing the Ogre
Definitely.
there. Patrider getting denied, plus the Vengeful. He got the Black Dragon, and even got the 2 small Thunder Hides as well, or never mind, I think they were the big Thunder Hides even.
They were the big ones, yeah.
Oh god, so lots of farm stolen.
Yeah, those 3 creeps would have been just enough, presumably, for the Blink Dagger. And he is 200 gold away for Hockey now, but still will be sub 11 minutes, it seems, as he farms up this last Ancient stack here. And will be still a nice timing for that, as Ravage does come up in 10 seconds.
Yeah, and for Gplay now, they are getting closer to a Blink Dagger on the Batrider, of course. You would usually expect to have it, but wasn't farming up the jungle, wasn't stacking it up, Lycan farming it up instead. Does have some pretty nice farm, number 1 in net worth, with Pure Evil picking up a Medallion of Courage as well, so if they want to, they can do much or more or less the same that they did in game number 1 with the Drow and Vengeful. Just go into Roshan, sneak it up. Pure Evil does get stunned, but on the wrong side of the Fissure. But he has a Blink, if only he had the mana to do anything with it.
Yeah, nice pickup here for Weehaw. He will probably go into a set of Treads or Arcanes of his own to boost up that mana pool, and will be pretty effective. Chronosphere in the river, however. Padrino is very low. He's ticking down. Sticky Napalm stacks are going to be there. He should get chased down here. Lycan Wolf's going to be the ones to finish him off. And unfortunately, he does expend the Chrono and his life there for nothing in return.
If he had just gone for the straight run away immediately, maybe would have gotten the time walking time. But he went for a few right clicks on the Ogre as well, I do believe. So that was kind of his downfall there. Nice attempt, even got the regen rune to pick up at mid lane. Blink, Echo Slam onto Kikoni, Fisher to fall as well, Enchant out, and one more right click. And they get the Lycan down.
Yep, Kikoni not able to bottle up this time. Blink forward from Hockey as well. He's going to catch a magic missile in the face. Doesn't have any levels in Gush, but Blink forward, Enchant, Totem Strike, one huge crit from Weehaw. Ravage going to be committed to stop the Fire Blast animation, but it's going to be a little late. Fisher's still going to finish off the Vengeful here. One Enchant, Totem Strike, one more Anchor Smash, and they'll get a nice double kill for Weehaw in the river.
Hawkeye dripping pretty down low as well from the Maledict. The last one might even do him in. Yes, it's going to be enough. So suddenly they get 3 kills, 10-7 in the favor of them. And Earthshaker, only a 300 net worth difference with the Lycan all of a sudden as well, has his power threads finished now. That was just exactly the turn of events that BBC kind of needed to get some momentum back in their favor.
Yeah, they get the double kill in the river, they get the Bat Rider after that, and they even got Kikoni in the mid before that, so over about a minute and a half stretch, they get 4 kills. Top lane swap onto Solitude, he's going to catch a magic missile in the face, easily right-click down, will drop the macro fire to grab a last hit as he dies, but not a big cooldown there, so it doesn't really matter. And a nice kill for Pure Evil on the Vengeful Spirit, securing that from Nikoni there, so a little unfortunate, but Mech does come out now for the Viper 12 minutes in.
It's definitely really important for them if they want to death ball, which I think they should want to do, really, in all honesty. I mean, Lycan is a really scary hero in the late game as well, with just 650 movement speed, built-in crit when you have the shapeshift activated. You do hurt quite a lot. Feral Impulse, even if you have the Vladimir still in the late game. Lots of extra base damage randomly coming out for you. But against the Chronosphere, all of that might be meaningless.
Yeah, and as well, if they ball up and they do opt for Necro units on the Lycan, they are going to be feeding the flames of this Echo Slam for Weehaw, which is going to be a high level in general, being as he's a core. So they do have ways to deal with the push from the side of BBC, and they can even just stave things off with the long-range counter-initiation of the Fisher. Jump forward, though, from Virgino. He's going to expend the Chronosphere here. Macro Power will be there. They should bring down Hawkeye with relative ease. And Weehaw will find that kill with the Fisher here, so they're prioritizing his farm a little bit early on.
It's not a bad idea, of course, either, because Earthshaker, as a core hero, you may be just a little bit weak from some point onwards. Yes, you go in, you throw out your stuns, you do your enchant out and damage and everything. But after the blink in, you have no means at all to escape, and you're not that tanky of a hero. I mean, 4 armor on him at the moment base. It's really easy to just chew through him, especially with the amount of minus armor from the medallion and the wave of terror coming out.
Yeah, certainly so.
So some extra farm definitely won't hurt the Earthshaker, but he's level 11 now, has the level 2 Echo Slam as well. And like I did mention, if Gplay want to focus a little bit more on pushing and go for the Necrobox, it might just backfire completely.
Yeah, Hockey gonna have another Ancient Stack to farm here. He's got his Arcanes up as well as a Blink, but he does need that level 11 to make that Ravage a little more potent. He's currently sitting at 3rd overall on the experience chart, so not bad at all on this Tidehunter, especially coming out of that off lane. But Jakiro gonna find a tower in the bot lane, doing what a very good twin-handed dragon should do. But in the river, Levi's gonna get caught out here. Shapeshift gonna be used, one more chop from the Lycan, and with the help of Pure Evil, they'll bring down Levi. Not the biggest loss for BBC, as they did find that tier 1 in the bot lane.
Yeah, they were actually trying to smoke into Roshan at mid lane. Out there's the Echo Slam. They're gonna go for Kikoni. Nice swap out though. Pure Evil completely saved the Lycan at this point and not even gonna die himself. Oh god, that swap out was so crucial there. But yeah, that smoke, or rather the Witch Doctor blowing it, dying there, he did prevent Roshan from happening at least. But this Faceless Void, with that Ring of Bazzi now, with the Morbid Mask, is it a Vlad's or is it just a Ring of Aquila? Because he also has a Circlet and Slippers of Agility.
Yeah, probably Aquila and the Mask of Madness as well. I think going for Vlad's here doesn't help him out with the attack speed. He does have a lot of help from outside the Chrono with the Witch Doctor, the Earthshaker, and the Jakiro, but still think he needs that damage, and it's going to help him transition quite a bit into the late game. Hawkeye going to farm up a stack in the jungle. They will be able to defend this tier 1 in the mid as Kikoni TP's in, and unfortunately that Echo Slam doing a hell of a lot of work for Weehaw, but not able to finish the job as Hawkeye picks up his Blink Dagger on the Batrider.
Yeah, finally gets it 15.5 minutes in. That's one of the slower Blink Daggers I've seen for quite some time on a Batrider. So it's going to be much appreciated for Gplay to have that now. I guess they don't have to crank up the aggression all that much because it's not going that bad for them at this point. Although Kikoni, I guess they know Echo Slam is on cooldown, but the Fisher Block not gonna be there, on the wrong side. But yeah, just knowing that the Echo Slam is on cooldown, they can play so much just more at ease.
Yeah, certainly so. They do have the Ravage at the ready now, so probably won't look to ball up toward this mid T1, but the slow siege with the Wolves is definitely available. Cast goes out into the river. Magic Missile's gonna cancel up the Death Ward. Fire Blast is there as well. Weehaw gonna jump forward with the Fisher. There's TP's in, however, from the Viper. Ravage hits as well as the Chronosphere. They're gonna bring down the Ogre here. Kikoni looks like he's taking a lot of punishments, but Weehaw gonna fall to the shapeshifted Kikoni. And Padrino looks like he will be the next target. Mech up from the side of Gplay, and that's going to win them the engagement. Tidehunter to fall as well. 5-man wipe for BBC. An instant buyback here from Pure Evil. He's going to come into the mid lane. They're going to look to find Roshan and the tier 1 off of this.
Yeah, the Roshan is going to be extremely easy for them with just minus 12 armor coming out. And of course Vladimir's offering there on top of it. They're going to just leave Hawkeye to deal with the tier 1. That is a huge win, and a lot of it had to do with the Ravage as well as the Chronosphere being used at the same time. I mean, the Chrono came out while the heroes were still up in the air from the Ravage. So
yeah, so it tells you how much they overlap there for sure. And the mech did keep up most of the lineup from Gplay as they were getting low. So very nice timing on that from Nikoni. And they're able to bring down everyone from the side of BBC.
And of course, man, if you just look at the items on BBC as well, yes, they have a couple of Blink Daggers, but they really do lack the items that would actually deal the damage for them.
Yeah.
So unless they get like a huge Death Ward channel during a fight, they will lack it even further than now, especially with Kikoni having a BKB already on the Lycan. Not going for the same mistakes that they did in game number 1. This time around, it's like BKB, I'm gonna have it, I must have it. And this Lycan is actually pretty damn scary already, and as is the entire Gplay team with just the mech sustaining them.
Yeah, BKB going to be even more effective in this game as well, with the Earthshaker in a core role against the Ravage once again. So really do like that early BKB pickup from the Lycan here. He should have free reign as they find the tier 1 in the bot lane here. So all the tier 1 towers are down now for the side of BBC. Only 1 tower down for the side of Gplay. And when you have a Jakiro in your lineup, you certainly want to be doing a little bit more structural damage to your opponents 18 minutes into the game.
That is usually the plan, at least. I mean, Balkan Bears, they just haven't found a proper foothold in this game, at least not quite yet. And they're going to lose even more because of this as well. They're most likely going to lose the tier 2. I really don't see a way for Gplay to back off from this tower push.
Yeah, I don't see them being able to defend. Looks like they will find a trade in tier 1 top, but just a small consolation prize. They are going to TP 1 back at least. Here's mass TPs from the side of BBC. Jump in, Echo Slam on 2. They're going to bring down the Ogre quick, but BKB pop by Kikoni. He's going to look to chop down Weehaw here. Magic Missile goes out. Death Ward's doing a lot of work from Levi. Ravage is going to hit on a couple. Hawkeye's going to drop here. Chronosphere on pretty much his own lineup from Padrino, and Pure Evil should make it out here. Kikoni able to run out, no first hit bash, but 3-0 either way, going the way of BBC, and they are able to defend their tower, so nice early jump there by Weehaw with the Echo Slam.
Yeah, the Patriot also blinked in straight into an Ice Path as well. Ice Path was level 1 just because he's maxed out Dual Breath, so it wasn't all that bad, but Padrino's Chronosphere, it almost killed off the Tidehunter rather than helping kill the Batrider there, just because he was in the Firefly of the Batrider during it. So that Chronosphere may be a little bit too eager. If he had had it to just chase the other heroes, I think they might have gotten like 1 extra kill. But does have his Mask of Madness now. Still an excellent fight, 3-0. You defend the tier 2, you get the tier 1 yourself. So they are getting the necessary things done, but Batrider, he got a rather late Blink Dagger, but already has the Force Staff to follow.
Yeah, Hockey gonna come out with the Force Staff as well. Mid lane, however, Fisher is gonna zone them out for the time being. Hawkeye won't be able to get in range for a lasso. Cass gonna jump out, bounce between Nikoni and Hawkeye, but no re-engage imminent as they don't have their full lineup for BBC at the ready.
So Gplay, they popped the mech. I guess they want to keep on going. They still have the Aegis as well. They know there's no Ravage, there's no Chronosphere, so all in all, nothing to really be afraid of. Same for the Echo Slam as well. That's just... If they had the Chronosphere, Gplay, I'm not too sure if they would be this ballsy just going straight in. But Solitude also has himself a Yule Scepter finished on this Chikiro now. Can set up his own Ice Paths.
Yeah, definitely a nice pickup. Can also counter up the lasso from Hawkeye here, so will be used certainly in that respect. But he's going to be the one to get lasso here. Drag back easy, free pickup for Gplay, and they could sound high ground push with this. No buyback on that Chikiro.
It's going to be hard for them to defend me. Kikoni still has the Aegis, but doesn't want to cut it too close here as well by the looks of it. So they're going to back off for now. But they've done a lot of damage already. They got the tier 2, almost down to half HP is the tier 3 as well. So they are looking strong, looking at the graphs, going a little bit up and down, but yeah. I think as they upgrade, it's still about a 5k net worth lead. XP though, funny enough, is almost zeroed out just from the last fight.
Yeah, I think the metrics aren't quite indicative of the hold Gplay does have on this game. BBC are very reliant on these ultimates landing, and if they don't, and they're able to mech up from the side of Gplay, they should be able to win most engagements here. If Pure Evil positions himself well enough to keep a priority target from dying in the Chronosphere, they're going to have a little bit of trouble on the side of BBC bursting him down thereafter without a really good Death Ward or Echo Slam.
And all in all, Earthshaker isn't really that kind of a core hero as well that, like a Terrorblade in game number 1, just really takes over a game by himself.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for them. They really rely on their ultimates, but they are giving chase at the moment. The Fisher block will be there, Nikoni. He has a TP. If he can attempt it, Ice Path, Macrofire will follow, of course. But there's the swap back from Pure Evil Padrino. Oh god, he catches the Chronosphere onto Nikoni anyway. He does get stunned by the Ogre. And now Hawkeye, he's on the run as well. Death Ward comes out, but Nikoni is still alive. He's plenty tanky, and Padrino, he's just gonna go down. Kikoni, he comes in, but there's the Ravage. Echo Slam used to be still alive. They get one, but Kikoni with his BKB on the Lycan just a little bit too damn strong. Now Haki is gonna fall next with the Fire Blast to stop his TP. Double kill for the Lycan. Viper Strike onto Levi as well. Witch Doctor might choke things out. Paralyzing Cast to buy some time for Solitude. But it's just kind of another lost fight.
Yeah, again, you see the overlap of both the Echo Slam and the Ravage pretty much at the same time from Hockey and Weehaw. There's a little bit of a misplay or miscommunication for them. Either way, they both expended their ults with Kikoni's BKB up. So the Lycan literally just stood in their face, chopped down Weehaw, and Hockey was next to fall as well. So they will lose another tier 2 off of this. Buyback not ready for Weehaw. He will be up soon, so they probably won't go high ground from the side of Gplay as the Aegis is expired. But they do find another tier 2 off of that kill, and definitely a good engagement for them.
They're just so far ahead at this point, at least, that it feels like it when you look at the Lycan's net worth. And now Padrino Viper Strike up. gonna have to time walk away. They just once again do not have their ultimates to really fight this Kikoni. He gets 4-stepped in, nice little move. But do they have enough follow-up? They even might, with the Fisher coming out as well. We enchant totem, right click is there. Therefore as well, another nice swap. BKB activated from Kikoni. Doesn't have the shapeshift for another 3 seconds. Lasso onto Solitude though, pure evil. Still alive, the Death Ward level 1 just not doing enough. Now Nikoni might be next. He's caught up. The Macro Pyre is there as well. Kikoni, the Ice Path. They actually get the kills. Gplay, it looked decent-ish for them, but in the end they had to back off. 5 seconds for a Chronosphere. Padinho, he's still healthy. They're going for a Hawkeye. Enchant Totem to stun him up. 4 heroes down. How the hell did they take that fight?
That was a beautiful ice path from Solitude as he went down there, and it did catch on too. Held them in the macro power. Fisher was there to follow from Weehaw, and they took down both the Viper and Kagoni's Lycan there, so 2 huge priority targets. Nice swap once again by Pure Evil to keep the Lycan up, but he did re-engage after with that BKB, feeling a little more healthy than he actually was. And now that BKB for the Lycan is down to 7 seconds, so it's going to be a little bit less effective in these team fights, and he is going to be more susceptible as the game wears on to the Ravage and the Echo Slam and the Jakiro and Witch Doctor's toolkits.
Well, when Gplay, it really looked extremely good for them, but losing that fight does bring it down a little bit, and that was without a Chrono, a Echo Slam, or a Ravage as well. So they just really caught Lycan off guard early on. And the Death Ward, it's gonna be level 2 from now on as well, so doing a little bit more damage. Witch Doctor has 2 parts of the Aghanim stun as well. But the level 1 Death Ward, it just has such a long uptime, and even then it's like barely just slowly cut the Vengeful Spirit down. They need a little bit more, but that's a straight up Necro level 3 picked up for Lycan.
Yeah, this is a huge item for them, but as I said before, it does add units to this Echo Slam for Weehaw if it's well placed. And so they should be a little bit worried about that, but either way, they can slow siege just with the Wolves and the Necro units without committing any other heroes to that. And in that sense, you definitely won't expend an Echo Slam on it. So either way, still a good item as long as Gplay are aware of the circumstances. And I'm sure they are in this case. So they will smoke up S5 and look for a pick, but it doesn't look like they'll find anyone. Weehaw even circling the map here, looking for them, knowing that they aren't defending any of these other lanes or pushing them out.
Yeah, I really like that Gplay actually went into the Roche pit to smoke as well. That's like the safest place to smoke, more or less. And they are hanging around. Of course, if the Roche hadn't been up, they would have just gone for it straight away because it was past the 8 minutes. But it got a really long respawn timer, almost a full one, just like 20 seconds less than the full timer. But they are still ready to push something maybe, although high ground is the only one they can push from the bottom and the mid lane. So this is gonna have to wait a little bit longer, I guess. But we have the crit on the Earthshaker. Maelstrom 1 Faces Void plus another 1.9k gold. Jakiro, unfortunately not getting the levels to get higher levels into Ice Path. And I really feel like just having 4 into Ice Path and 1 into Dual Breath might be a little bit better in just those situations here.
Yeah, Hawkeye scouting for a lasso here is not going to find it. Everyone playing very safe. I feel like we still haven't seen a game-breaking chrono from Pedrino. We saw the one in the river where the Lycan got away, the one in mid lane where he overlapped it with the Ravage, and the one on the other side of the river where he only got the Viper and Solitude, or the Ogre Magi for Poison, was able to Fire Blast him up and stave him off from that one. So I still feel like that can turn the tide of the fights for BBC, but we've yet to see a really good chrono from Pedrino, unfortunately, on this Void. And he usually is a very good one-position player for a lot of heroes for BBC, so hopefully he'll be able to recover with one of those, and BBC will be able to take an engagement off the back of that.
So looking at the graphs now, XP, it is actually about 7,000 in BBC's favor now. That was like 2 fights. And it was a swing of like almost 15,000. Net worth though, it's almost zeroed out, but there's still a lot of just towers to claim if you're BBC. You are 3 towers behind at this point. So that's like 3k net worth lying around on the map already.
Yeah, definitely do have a lot of mechanics to recover in this one. They only have their own tier 2 up in the offlane, which is perfectly healthy, but in the more important lanes, their tier 3s are exposed. Levi's gonna have his smoke popped on the high ground. So they do know someone is waiting on the stairs here, which is Nakoni, so not the best target for them to go on either way, and always should be wary of walking up high ground into this lineup.
Oh, you most certainly should. So they do play it rather carefully at this point. I mean, they see Kikoni, but it's so risky to initiate on him because if he's fast enough and gets his BKB, all of your initiation, all of your spells will just have been used for nothing. And the thing is as well with the Earthshaker, even if you get the great chrono, there is no guarantee that the Earthshaker can actually enchant totem into that, unless the hero is like literally on the edge of it.
Yeah, we're going to see Gplay walk into the Roshan here once again with that Medallion and the Wave of Terror. They're going to be able to melt this really quick, and BBC is out of position to contest this at the moment. And they don't see anyone on the map, so we're a little worried about smoke ganks themselves. They're going to smoke up 4 without the Void, but Roche is going to drop, and Kekoni going to pick that up on the Lycan, so I'm not sure if they're willing to go fight right into that Aegis.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, BBC, they have such great team fight, but they were just lacking the map vision, and I guess they were like, we cannot really do too much about it, or if we go contest and we fail, we are just going to be royally screwed, because they didn't have the proper vision. Even if they had like randomly gone in and popped Ravage or Chrono or something, it might have just been like, oh, there's only one hero, only Lycan doing it solo, where the others are just completely surrounding the Roche pit. But they're going to run into Hawkeye and Poison. They don't see each other yet. Goddamn night vision for the win. But Nikoni now, there's the Fisher, will land onto 3. You'll set it up as well. But is he going to pop the Chrono? He's waiting for it. Hawkeye, he's going to lose his life first. Poison should be an easy kill as well. Dual breath to slow him down. But Kekoni, he comes in, BKB activated is... Oh, the Chrono doesn't catch the Lycan. My freaking god, Hockey. He's going to lose his life thanks to that. He even got caught in the Chrono himself, so there was no Ravage. Solitude, he's the one to TP out now. And swap back onto Padrino. My freaking god, that Chrono just kind of lost them the fight.
Once again, just a poor usage of Chrono. Triple kill going the way of Kekoni. Weehaw was able to disengage there very nicely after almost dying, after killing off Hawkeye. But again, the Chrono whiffs, and it actually freezes Hockey in place, and they're not able to use the Ravage at all in that fight. So he does buyback with that available. There's buyback available on the Void, as well as the Witch Doctor, who does have a level 2 Death Ward at the ready, so they can make a defense here. But Kekoni going to chop down this tier 3 with relative ease. Jump forward though. Fisher's going to block back the Lycan here. Hockey comes forward with an Anchor Smash, but they don't have enough follow-up for the Ravage to be used right now. They will pop the Glyph, waiting for the Jakiro and the Witch Doctor to come up, and they can buy back the Void here if they want to save their racks. We'll see if they want to do so. Jump in, Echo Slam onto Fisher, onto 2 as well. Ice Path, Ravage onto Kekoni, has popped the Shapeshift. He's going to pop his BKB. He's going to chop down Weehaw here. Hawkeye jump forward, lasso onto Levi, dragging him back, and the Void not buying back here is huge. Gplay able to take a couple easily. They're going to force the buyback on Weehaw and disengage. They won't get a melee racks here, unfortunately. TPs are back to the mid lane. Kekoni going to jump up to the high ground. He's going to feed the Aegis. Viper Strike out onto Weehaw here. And Padrino is ready with a Chronosphere. Finally one that matters, but actually doesn't hit Kekoni. And once again, Dual Breath out onto the Lycan. He's going to get forced down. Melee racks is going to go down here. Ice Path is just going to be a zoning one for the time being, and Poison not able to find anyone with a Fire Blast. Not sure how much Poison has played, or we see Padrino play on this Void, but he just missed the solo Chrono on the Lycan.
That I also certain he was in it, but oh wow, that's...
When I first saw it cast, he got the Lycan, right? And then all of a sudden I see him right-clicking. Very, very unfortunate for Padrino there. That's about 5 whiffed Chronos so far this game.
This really isn't the best game for Balkan Bears at this point. So the graphs, everything that BBC gained from the last couple of fights, they have lost once again. Although, I mean, XP-wise, it's still rather even. Net worth, about a 6k lead, so it's not that huge for Gplay. But just having that one racks advantage already, BBC don't have the greatest of heroes to deal with that. Although Faceless Void is going for an AC at this point in time. Bonus armor definitely gonna help out against the minus armor coming out from the Vengeful. As well as Lycan most likely will maybe get an AC of his own at some point. At the moment, just as a basher. And Solitude, oh god, he's gonna get caught, or is he? They got vision of him, they're gonna get swapped back. The Fisher not gonna do too much to just help him. It's gonna delay, nothing else. And the Hawkeye, oh, he's gonna catch Levi as well. The Paralyzing Cask was bouncing from the creeps. Enchant Totem will stop Hawkeye and actually save Levi. Man, those Paralyzing Casks, just the remainder of the bounces from the creeps, stopping Hawkeye.
Yeah, very nice play from Weehaw as well to save his comrade there, and they'll keep him up. And with only a Jakiro down, they should still be able to defend this. Ravage is down, but it is up in 10 seconds. And the Refresher is nowhere near ready for Hockey here, but the Paralyzing Cast will delay things up for the moment, and he'll send the Necros up with the Wolves to the high ground to slow siege this tier 3.
Well, AC is finished. Witch Doctor sells a magic stick to get the Aghanim Scepter as well, so maybe now, there's the Chrono, catches only one. Once again the swap out Pure Evil, he's so good with those swaps. And that's the Aghanim Scepter ultimate use from Levi. Hockey comes in with the Ravage, BKB on Kikoni. They're just gonna mow through the Tidehunter like it's nothing. They only lose that one hero. Batrider almost loses life for their mind. He does go down to the Fissure. But so does the Earthshaker, and no buybacks on BBC, not on any of the heroes.
Yeah, this looks to be potentially GG here. I don't feel like Kikoni's been hit by a single Ravage ever since he picked up that BKB. Fire Blast, triple multicast onto Solitude, barely survives there, but this should be a couple lanes of racks here with no buybacks. Negative Earn Charge ticking down on Nikoni, and he's going to drop low to this, but they should be able to bring this melee racks down fairly easily. And Ice Path is going to land, Cast going to bounce through, but Kikoni, one last right click, brings down the melee racks, 2 times multicast on to Levi. Viper Strike is there as well, and he should survive this Viper Strike, but he is going to have to run back to Fountain. Easy melee racks for Gplay. They get 1.5 lanes here and are looking very good 34 minutes into the game.
It's really their game to lose at this point in time, just 2 racks ahead. Range racks still being taken out by the Wolves as well, might even completely succeed here. Come on, a few more right clicks. Wolf, you can do it. Oh, the hero Wolf gets it down. So, full 2 sets of racks behind now for BBC. Looking at the net worth, just Lycan 20k, Faces Void 12,000. It's just, you cannot compare those. Even the Viper at the moment is pretty damn strong. So tanky, has his own BKB now as well. I think it's just a matter of Gplay. If they want to go for the last of the racks, they can.
Yeah, certainly just a matter of time for them. They'll probably wait out the next Roshan, which is spawning at the earliest in about 1 minute and 45 seconds. So they're definitely content to sit back and farm for the time being. They know BBC isn't going to find too much, as they're pretty much cowering on their side of the map. Weehaw, though, in the top lane, going to Fissure up Pure Evil. He will be able to get down to the low ground. Viper Strike onto Levi, but he's got a haste rune. Should be able to back out with no problems there. Chronosphere is at the ready, but hasn't exactly been overwhelming thus far, so they will all back off. Ravage not up for 20 seconds, so they can't take an engagement quite yet.
Yeah, and Hockey just having to buy back earlier on, a couple of minutes ago, just means that there's not going to be a refresher for quite some time still. And if you have great farm, you already have it like 30 minutes into the game or something. But now, it's smoke into smoke. Who's going to get the better of it? Chronosphere in the backlines, but Nikoni, he had his BKB, but he just does not have enough. But they do kill off the Lycan with the Echo Slam used as well. He was in the Macro Fire. Hawkeye still has the lasso though. Is he going to use it on me? He's waiting for it. Gonna get Ice Pathed up. So it is just a 1-for-0 so far, and Balkan Bears coming out ahead. Well, they will lose Solitude as well, so I guess it's a 1-for-1, but still a core Lycan for that support. Definitely worth it, but BBC straight back into their own base to defend just against the creeps.
Yeah, we are in a little bit of trouble here, but should be just fine. Forces up through the mid lane, and Hockey still held on to Ravage throughout that, so they can take another engagement fairly soon. Chrono once again pretty poor, but at least zoned most of the lineup back into the choke from Gplay, and that allowed them to get a nice Echo Slam Macro Pyre off and kill off Kikoni. So probably the best of his 5 or 6 Chronos thus far from Padrino, as it did run back Gplay into that choke to be killed off.
Well, it's still Gplay. The 2 racks advantage, constantly lanes pushing in. So hard to play against that. You really need like Boots of Travels or like Morphling Replicate, Ember Spirits, just Remnant, something to be mobile. Because even if they win fights, what are the odds that they can actually get objectives themselves?
Yeah, very slim to none. Definitely a good point there. Their lineup isn't centered around pushing. It's centered around winning engagements, and they're going to have to win at least around 3, I'd say, to take down both these Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 in the mid lane and finally start chipping away at racks. So really steep hill to climb here for BBC if they want back in this game. And unfortunately for them, they haven't been able to find an engagement in Roshan at all. Both Roshans so far have been taken for free by Gplay, and they have excellent pit fight with the Ravage, Echo Slam, Death Ward, and the Chronosphere, and the Macro Pyre. So every ultimate is very effective around the pit, but just not diligent enough with their vision, as you mentioned before, from the side of BBC. And a good on Gplay to keep sentries up around the pit and make sure that they're not seen once they go in.
Well, now Solitude does pick up a gem for himself on the Chikira, so wants to remedy that a little bit, I guess. They do smoke up as well. But Aghanim Scepter down on the Ogre Magi now. Heart of Tarask on the Lycan as well. 3.6 freaking K HP. Even the Macropyre might not be enough to kill him off. They need just so much to focus the Lycan down.
Yeah, he's getting really tanky, also hitting very hard at this point. With the Howl, he's hitting for well over 400 damage, and that's pretty damn scary, especially with that Medallion and the Wave of Terror that they have available to them.
Yeah, I mean, if the Vengeance Aura is near enough to him, he's gonna hit with the Howl about almost 500 damage, plus of course he's gonna crit with the ultimate being active. My god, I fear for them, and now Padrino, he's gonna get lassoed up. They cannot lose that hero early on. Macropyre, Ice Path will fall onto Pure Evil, but BKB on Kikoni, he's just gonna move through the Chikiro first. Chronosphere catches absolutely no heroes. Kikoni does run back into it. There is... Well, actually might lose his life here if they get some Sun's Echo Slam. A second too late though, Ravage will completely whiff from Haki. So yeah, they only got the Vengeful and probably now gonna get chased down themselves.
Yep, they're going to finish off Levi here with a couple more poison attacks. Anchor Smash just going to be a waning blow from Haki as he drops as well. Should be a free Roshan. They're able to TP out Weehaw on the high ground, but Teamfight Ultimates, yeah, they're only good if you hit them. And Chronosphere and Ravage both whiffing in that fight, even though Kikoni ran back into the Chronosphere, not enough duration for them to bring him down. Echo Slam whiffed as well from Weehaw. He's been very good on the Earthshaker thus far, but that would have been a huge one if they were able to hit it on Kikoni and finish him off. That's most of the damage from the side of Gplay, but in the meantime, their mid lane being pushed in, a quarter health left on this one tier 4. Roshan going to be taken by Gplay, and another Aegis for this Lycan. Should be just a matter of time before they're able to end this in the mid lane.
Well, in all fairness, I guess this Chronosphere did prevent from some of Gplay's heroes from coming in to assist there. Just because it was on the stairs here, so there was no way for them to come close. But even then, for a second I thought they might just have enough to bring down the Lycan, but... Just that Heart of Tarask pick up straight before the fight. Without the heart, I think they would have killed the Lycan off.
Yeah, or
maybe
if they
easily so, but at least gotten the kill.
Yeah, if they hit the Echo Slam or the Ravage, they may have had enough to kill off Kikoni. He was swappable at that point as the Chronosphere did go down, but they're not able to hit either of those to follow up the Chronosphere. And for once, they don't chain their abilities on the side of BBC, but they're just not able to hit them, and a lack of follow-up there on Kikoni's Lycan pretty much spelled doom for them in the team fights.
So I guess Gplay now, with the Aegis, they do have a cheese on Viper as well. This is the time for them to just kind of end this game now. There is a Daedalus picked up on Earthshaker, but I highly doubt it's going to have enough effect.
Yeah, certainly will not, I don't believe, but it's a nice right-click offer to them that they haven't had thus far. Either way, with that Heart of Tarask and the Viper being as tanky as he is, and the mech and the cheese, I don't feel like it'll be enough here. They do have all their ultimates aside from Ravage up again. Ravage is up in 10 seconds, so... If they're able to chain this, once again, if the execution is perfect from BBC, they will win these engagements with only a 5-second BKB up on Kikoni, but they really need to chain things well together and communicate in this next engagement. And Gplay with the Aegis have 2 lives on that Lycan, so...
That should be plenty for him to just stand in the front lines, kill off the tier 3 without losing anything really. They also just have to wait for the other lanes to push in, but we do have a disconnect, and... I'm afraid this might be like one of the, oh, we're waiting for God knows how long for this guy to reconnect, and then the game is going to end within like the next minute or something.
Yeah, well, looks like Kikoni reconnecting as, yeah, lagged out, so looks like things going to get back underway here. Going to be on Padrino, Haki, Weehaw to get their ultimates down in this one, but either way, Aegis in tow for Kikoni. The rest of his lineup postured very defensively, ready to swap him out and re-engage if he is jumped on, and he will be able to just slow siege with the Howl and his litter of units.
I mean, I do have to say though that Pure Evil on the Vengeful Spirit, he has played so good this game. He has gotten like just an uncountable number of defensive swaps out. He has really saved so many core heroes so many times, but Kikoni, he drops solo, Maledict up as well. He might even go down here, Dual Breath as well. I think the Maledict is going to be enough with the Elastics. So they got rid of the Aegis for more or less nothing.
Yeah, that's perfect for the side of BBC. They will jump in here. Padrino will hit the Aegis only on one swap out from Pure Evil. They will be able to bring down the Venge, but a jump in and a lasso from Hawkeye onto Levi. He's going to go to the low ground. Padrino going to get hit with a multicast kill drop here. Lycan chopping down Levi. Jump in. Echo Slime's not going to do too much, but Ravage does hit 4 here. Death Ward to follow. Kikoni going to have to turn and run tail. Nick Coney bringing down Levi here. He's going to get Yules'd up, and they do drop another, and GG, well played, is called. Solitude going to be next to fall as well. Well played in game 2 by Gplay. They'll tie up the series 1-1.
Yeah, they really had just command of the game for quite a long time. It was just a matter of closing things out. So really well done. Of course they lost the Aegis, so BBC managed to do that at least pretty nicely, but after that just not enough left in the tank, or couldn't get the lucky Daedalus crit with the enchant totem. And of course the Viper, he completely kited the Earthshaker around. If he doesn't blink next to somebody, he just couldn't get the right clicks off at all.
Yeah, so unfortunate for BBC. They're going to have to take this to a deciding game here either way. Very well played from both sides. Gplay going to surmount an advantage and take it and take their opportunity and roll through to a game 2 victory, but not the end of the series, guys.
Yeah, it's definitely not. So we're going to head into game number 3, the deciding one, to see who's going to advance to the semifinals, who's going to fall off the tournament. Lot on the line, guys. So see you in game number 3. Hope you enjoyed the game so far, and hopefully the third game will be the best of them all.